Hi, puppy. Oh, 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 nose. Wait. Come on. Crazy puppy. Alright, I got Puzzle Fox back at you again. Jesse here. So, it's been a long time since I put anything on YouTube. Been busy with some house projects. My son Owen just graduated from high school this last week, so we've been concentrating on building a deck. So we haven't done any updates on the Ranger in a while, I don't think. I'm trying to remember the last thing I talked about. He still needs to put a new rear end under it. I think at the last time it didn't have fans on it. I think he was just doing some other little bit of maintenance work and cleaning up in the garage or something. So we thought we'd do an update on the Ranger again. So here's the Ranger. Here's Owen with his awesome little truck here. So he's been driving it quite a bit. Kind of gonna drive it over the summer, and then it's probably gonna go into storage for a couple of years while he's in college. But he's not getting rid of the truck, of course. So as you can see, I think, I don't know the last time, it probably still had the old Explorer wheels on it. So we got like they're like 99 or 2000, like 99 Cobra actual SVT rims. And he's just got some cheap little burner tires on it. There's Crazy Dog.
Front tires are kind of nice.
Yeah, the front tires are pretty good, so he's just left those on there. And then he just got some free tires from a buddy of his that were pretty much shot to begin with. But he's already burned off one set of tires. How many miles you got on here now, Owen?
I am close to 3,000.
Yep, so he's been putting some miles on it and enjoying it. So
I'm basically dailying it.
Yep.
Except for when I go down to work, I take the road.
Yep. So if you didn't catch that, he's pretty much using this as his daily. You can tell it's the good old Minnesota truck, but for
the other side's good.
Yeah, but for a flipping 30-year-old or almost 30-year-old Minnesota truck, it's pretty solid.
I think it's one of the early model year ones, so it's probably made in 91.
Yep. But this side's really solid. I don't know if we showed it much before, but it does have a little bit of the surface rust on the bottom of the door panels on the inside, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just got some surface rusting spots. Yeah, you can see it there.
As well.
But it's not terrible. So eventually we are going to find a different box for it, or at least a box side. And then it's got the rust on the bottom edge of the hood here from the inside, because there was a bug shield and it was full of leaves when we got it.
Yeah, on the
So
side.
yeah,
That's the worst bit of it there.
yeah. Want to prop the hood up. So trying to remember what the last thing was that we showed, but engine's probably due for an oil change. You can see here he's got some miles on it, so the headers are getting a little discolored and it's a little bit dirty under here. We do have a coolant leak that we need to get figured out and get fixed. I think the last time I showed it didn't have a fan on, but you can kind of see it up here. He's got a electric fan mounted to the front of the radiator there. Oh, there you can see it pretty good. But the thing's been running like a champ, and like I said, he's been burned off one little bit of set of tires, and he's got another cheap set on here. So we just thought we'd come out, show you around the truck, show you and how good a shape it's in. He's been driving it a lot. It's been pretty much trouble free, right?
Yeah.
Other than when it's uber cold out in the winter, it didn't want to start, wasn't that right?
Mm-hmm.
So
when it gets below somewhere around like 45, it sometimes has a bit of trouble starting.
Yeah.
And then when I've been driving it for like a day and I fire it up, it fires up, and then sometimes it'll idle way down and sometimes die, but a lot of times it'll like fire up, rev up, and then idle back down to almost dying, and then go back up to a good idle.
So probably need a little tune-up or something again. And one thing we weren't sure about is like over the winter when it wouldn't want to start, then we weren't sure if it wasn't getting the right amount of fuel pressure or what the case may have been.
Stock fuel pump isn't quite powerful enough.
Yeah.
Because I have to let it, the fuel pump run for a few seconds before I can fire it up. Otherwise, it'll just die right away.
Yep. So just for an update on that, we're still running the stock. It's the Ranger tank with the stock fuel pump on it for the 3-liter V6. So, like Owen said, it
all stock except for the engine and trans.
Yep. So maybe it's starving there. Maybe the fuel pressure is a little low. Maybe we need to replace the fuel pressure regulator on the engine or something, but we haven't dug into it enough because, like, especially now that it's warm, it's been running really good. So we thought we'd just fire it up and go for a little bit of a ride and show you it driving by. Maybe do a couple drive-bys, maybe fine. Yep. Maybe we'll take a little bit of a trip to Mexico here and see what this truck will do. Oh, one other update. We do have the 8.8. Owen's got it tore apart in the garage. So we bought a used 8.8, just pulled it apart to make sure everything's good in there. The gears aren't all ready to blow apart or all chipped apart. But just for the meantime, to have some fun and just to be a dumb kid, him and his buddies came over, since we got the welder now, pulled the diff cover off and welded up the spider gears. So it's basically got a little makeshift spool rear end in it. So
it's really not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Just tight corners are a bit
yeah,
weird.
you can hear the tires kind of skipping around the corners. So here we're going to do a little bit of a cold start. I'll go back around to the corner of the truck. It's like 85 degrees out yet right now. I don't know if I showed it before, but he's got the exhaust on here now, so it's just a dual into a single muffler and then dual out of that muffler.
You ready?
I'm ready. So it actually sounds pretty good and mean. It's actually with the inside the cab of the truck, with it running, driving with the windows up, it's actually really quiet inside. But with the windows down, you can hear it rumble. You can kind of see the back end of the truck shaking a little bit. So like I said, it's like we said, as far as I know, it's still the stock cam from the Mustang engine, so it's not like any sort of alphabet cam or anything like that. So I'll let Owen kind of back the truck around and we'll go for a little bit of ride here. Yeah, so you can kind of hear that tire skipping there. What? Can I give it a little bit? Sure. About 60. Yeah. The speedo's a little bit off with the shorter tires on it. Going to do a nice little pull from zero here. So we'll do a little drive-by action for you here too. Dad taught him well. But that's pretty much it for the update on the Ranger. I don't know how much more content I'll put on here about this, but probably put a little, because like I said, we're doing the 8.8 rear end to put under here. So we got that 8.8 off of, I don't know what it would have been, a late 90s Explorer Sport or whatever it was. So it's got the rear disc brakes and everything, 373 limited slip rear end in it. So just going through that, kind of checking things over right now. And then hopefully this back end sits up pretty high on here. We might figure out something to do with the front end too, but then the Explorer rear end actually sits above the leaf springs instead of below the leaf springs like the stock 7.5 does. So it'll probably drop that rear end probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches, something like that. But it should be pretty interesting to see how much it slams this rear end with it there. And of course the fun little label. But that's it for now, and I'm gonna get back to the Mustang.